Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alecia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked.
So hello and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. This is episode 196. And today I am joined by not one, but two guest sidekick hosts because Sierra unfortunately had to cancel last minute and take Sissy to the hospital for a possible concussion. So she's keeping me updated as we go. And as all of you know that listen, we have a very core, tight-knit group of ladies that we all collaborate with and support. And I shot a message into our group chat and I got lucky. Very, very lucky. So I'm going to introduce my two guest co-hosts here. I've got Jasmine from Black Coffee, Crime and Crochet, a brand new podcast that if you're not listening to, you should go check it out. Say hello.
Hi, guys. I'm excited.
And I also have my longtime friend, Rachel Holloway from Like Mother, Like Murder.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be back.
It's been like a hot minute. We're long overdue for another collaboration.
It has. I act like everyone knows, like I'm just here all the time. They're like, what do you mean good to be back? Who are you?
No. I'm pretty sure a lot of our listeners overlap.
This is my first collab too, BTW.
Is it?
Really?
It is. I'm excited.
Well, I'm honored to be your first. I didn't mean for that to sound so creepy, but this is a true crime podcast, so
All of the creep vibes will be coming out tonight.
And we start the show with a little palate cleanser with some fun facts. So I asked each of these lovely ladies to just show up and bring a fun fact. So what do you got for me, Jasmine?
Don't start with me because I forgot.
Just kidding. What do you have for me, Rachel?
Okay. You know what? One of the things that is so hard for me. So let me start by telling everybody what I just told you when I first came on here. So when you asked if we could come on, the first thing I did was grab my phone and type in fun fact about, and I sat there thinking, like, what could I possibly look up? Because I have like this thing where you guys cover fun facts all the time. So how am I going to come up with something that hasn't been done before, right?
You know what?
So
It's
then
yet to happen, so.
Today, I'm sure I'm okay. Thank you for that. You just jinxed me. But I typed the word elbows. I did not find a fun fact about elbows though.
I'm disappointed.
I know. I'm
Truly.
so sorry. I'll do better next time. And that is like a goal. It literally was like,
next time you're on the show,
move.
I better
Nobody
have a fun
needs
fact
that.
about elbows.
It'll be about my own elbow because there's not really anything great that I found. But what I am going to say is that Australia is wider than the moon.
Oh my gosh, I just saw that.
Why are you looking at the same fun fact as me? Yeah, isn't that crazy? So
that's wild.
The moon is 3,400 kilometers in diameter, while Australia's diameter from east to west is almost 400. 4,000, not 400.
That's crazy.
That is.
Man, you'd think that what is responsible for the tides and anything crazy that happens in our life would be a little bigger. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah. We blame or put a lot of things onto the moon.
Right?
The fact that you're just so small is kind of crazy.
Small but mighty.
Small but mighty. I love it. Yep. That's
and what
my fun
about
fact for
you, Jasmine?
Okay, so since we're dealing with the moon, I'll go with something similar. It said Venus is the only planet to spin clockwise, which I didn't know. It travels around the sun once every 225 Earth days, but it rotates clockwise once every 243 days.
Weird.
Didn't know
that is weird.
You know what's funny is last week's episode I shared a fun fact about space, and that it was that there's like this big planet-sized ball of water that just moves around our galaxy. So
Water?
space is a scary place. Yeah.
And I don't
Earth
understand why people
is
want to
also
go.
a scary place.
It's true. It's all a scary place, but my favorite part about the Earth is the fact that there are little animals on it. My fun fact is not about space today, guys. It's about fish and that they form orderly queues in times of emergency. So when evacuating through narrow spaces in sketchy situations, in one study, a school of neon tetrafish formed queues so that they didn't collide or clog up any lines to get out of danger. Scientists interpreted this behavior as showing that fish can respect social rules even in emergency situations, unlike humans.
I love that. Yeah, unlike I was just going to say that because it's like, wait, not the majority of humans can't do that. So
Right?
that is crazy. Yeah,
Clearly.
they have social boundaries.
I think that all animals are better than people. Most people, that is.
I'm pretty much right there with you.
And we are going to be talking about a disappearance today. I think I already said that. But this particular person we are allowed to like, this family we're allowed to like, and it is all about them. But before we get into this week's episode, today's episode pairs well with a Caesar because my episode is a Canadian tale today, and nothing says Canadian like a good old-fashioned Caesar. No, I don't mean the salad for the majority of our American listeners. I mean the drink. It is delicious as a virgin drink, or you can booze it up with your favorite vodka or gin. And I know that I've converted at least a couple of Americans from a Bloody Mary. So what you'll need is 2 ounces of vodka, ice, Worcestershire and Tabasco to taste. I like to do 5 and 9 respectively, my God, and then top it with clamato juice. You can also garnish it with a spicy bean, a stalk of celery, pickles, olives, cheese, really anything that you want. There is a full bar in downtown Vancouver that you can get like grilled cheese and fried pickles. It's super fun. So if you're feeling a little extra fancy, you can do 2 ounces of pickle juice and some steak seasoning, which is what I like to do. Overall, a very customizable beverage. Oh my god, he's so cute. Or she, I don't know. But yeah, that is what today's episode pairs well with.
Is
Have
that
you
what
ever
you
had
have in front of you? That so
this
you
is a
actually
Caesar.
made that? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know
Well, it's
sometimes you'll
super
say
watered
what
down
it
now, but
is, but not actually have it. And then when you held it up, I was like, no, that actually looks exactly like what you're saying.
it is today. Caesar's, fun fact, are my favorite cocktail. So
No, I have never had a Caesar and I have never heard of a Caesar. And I am the American that thought you were saying something paired with a Caesar salad.
do you like Bloody Marys?
I do, as long as it is as spicy as someone can make it.
Yes, I'm an
Because I'm
extra
not a big
spicy gal.
fan. I'm not a big fan of tomato juice.
Honestly, then, I think you'll like a Caesar. Clamato juice sounds gross, but it's actually really good. Sierra is one of the Americans I've converted. She loves Bloody Marys and she prefers this. But it's
Okay, so
harder to find in the US.
that was my next question was since you
You should be
converted
able to
her,
find it in Kentucky. If she can get it in Alabama, you should be able to get it there.
right? I just
I've
wonder
never
like
had Bloody Mary.
if I went to a bar and said, "Can I have a Caesar?" would they know what I'm talking about? Is like
Most of the time, bartenders, depending on how close you are to the border, they're pretty smart. Bloody Marys are not for everybody. I think they're nasty because tomato juice is thick,
yeah,
but
ugh.
clamato juice is a little bit thinner, and you can customize it. So
Well, when
that
I
is why I
do
put.
end up at a bar, I will ask somebody and send you a picture.
Or when
'Cause
you
then
come to visit me, inevitably. And I'm sorry, Jasmine, your baby is so cute. I saw you run by.
Thank you.
she was like, "Look, look,
A baby!
a baby."
I always have baby fever. It's a problem.
You can have mine.
I can have yours. Yours are old enough to give attitude now, though. So,
That's why you can have her. I'm done.
so while we sip our drinks, we are going to take a quick break to hear a promo from our friend Kevin over at Where the Weird Ones Are. Sierra and I just recorded a Conspiracy Tuesday episode with Kadra from Perplexity Podcast. Lots of fun. So be sure to go and check it out, and we will be right back. So I'm going to start today's episode with a quote from the victim's mother. Quote, "To me, the city always seemed so small until I lost a child in it. Then it seemed massive. Where do you even start looking?" End quote. Today, I will be telling you about the disappearance of 14-year-old Justin Rutter from Ottawa, Ontario, in Canada. So I'm sorry, guys. I know
I
you're
know,
both
yeah,
moms.
break our hearts, why don't
Already
you?
with
I
the
know.
14. I mean,
I
it's
know.
all bad, but oh jeez. Okay.
Yeah. So honestly, I think you guys are both gonna love this kid's spirit as much as I did. I was so invested for like 3 full days in his story. So Justin Eric Rutter was born on May 3rd, 1997 to his parents Jay and Preston. When his parents met, they each had 2 kids from other relationships, but the family blended seamlessly, and then they had Justin. So the family lived in a place called Lowertown, which was a subsection of Ottawa that can be a little seedier, to say the least. But it also has its charms and it's affordable to young families. Most families, like the Rutters, taught their kids appropriate street smarts and about safety. So I mentioned the charms. Let's focus on that first. It has a rich history and it is located close to central Ottawa with all of the historic and touristy stops, which the Rutter family enjoyed visiting together. In fact, Preston, Justin's dad, enjoyed collecting old postcards from the city, and then he would recreate the scene in front of the buildings with his kids, which I loved.
That's so cute.
And then he made it into like a little side by side coffee table book.
Oh.
Right? Such a good idea, also. At 14, Justin was quite small, and he actually looked like he was about 10 years old. He was small, but he was mighty, like the moon.
I
and
was
his
just gonna say, just like our moon.
and his family said that he had an old soul. He was introspective, kind, and accepting, and very thoughtful and close with his family. He also really loved old movies and old music, specifically old horror movies like the original Frankenstein and The Monster of the Black Lagoon. Honestly, he just seemed like the coolest kid. So on October 9th, 2009, Justin had spent the day with his mom, and unfortunately, she developed a bit of a migraine and had to go lay down. Can relate. And at around 6 p.m., Justin asked his mom if he could go to the park with one of his friends. He promised that he wouldn't be out late, and Jay allowed him to go and continued to attempt to sleep off this migraine. But when she woke up later in the night, she went to check on Justin, and he wasn't in his bed. Jay immediately called the police and then called her mom. Her mom tried to calm her down and remain hopeful that maybe Justin had lost track of time or had gone to sleep at a friend's house and just wasn't able to connect with her. So Preston and Jay went around looking for their son, driving up and down every street, but they had to pull the car over. They just looked at each other and had this overwhelming feeling of dread wash over them. They both had this silent understanding. Oh, I'm going to cry. They both had this silent understanding filled with immense pain that they were never going to see their son again.
That is like
Oh,
everybody's worst nightmare right there.
right? And I have this really bad habit of like writing my notes victim focused always, but then I make myself cry constantly.
Oh, yeah.
You're the other
Yeah.
queen of crying on
I was gonna
episodes,
say
so
the amount of crying that we do on like Mother Like Murder is insane.
it just goes to show that you have a beautiful heart.
I'm just imagining myself driving around looking for my kid.
Oh, I
It's
know.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It again, like where do you even start? And like luckily most of the time when kids go missing, like it does have a happy ending. Like they've been hiding in the racks at Winners and wanted to scare the shit out of their mom. Maybe speaking from experience, you know. So Justin's friend that had allegedly gone to the park with him told police that the two parted ways around 10 p.m. and that Justin told him that he was, quote, going to be out late, maybe all night, end quote. Which, like, what?
No, you're just too young to be out all night. Go home.
100%. But
Because nothing good
because
happens when it's dark out. Sorry.
that is true. No, don't be sorry. My saying is nothing good happens after midnight. That is my rule. I go home before midnight.
As a child, as an adult, like, my bedtime is 8:30, so
And
I
here
don't
you
even
are
know.
up past your bedtime just for me.
No, 8:30 in the morning. No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding. No, I'm just playing. No, it is 8:30. That's why, like, even as
the life of a podcaster.
a teenager, everyone's like, "Oh, we're gonna go do this," and I'm like, "Yeah, but
When
nah."
I have friends reach out to me and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll meet at 8." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no."
No. At his
No.
age, it was like when the streetlights came on, we was in the
Right,
house. Like,
right.
Yes, yes, because you didn't have phones. You couldn't check in with your family.
yeah.
I mean, it was nice when it was summertime and you got to stay out later, but
Can
yeah.
you remind me what year this was?
This is 2009.
Okay, thank you.
Because the neighborhood that they lived in and the manner in which Justin disappeared, police immediately labeled it as a runaway and insisted that Justin was okay and that he would turn up. As true crime podcasters, we hear this bullshit all the time.
Because this is stuff that pissed me off. How you just gonna automatically assume it's a runaway? How about we do some process of elimination and then let that
Mhm,
be the last thing that we do instead
mhm.
of just assuming it's a runaway? I hate when they do that.
Oh, your guys' blood is going to be boiling with how this case was treated. I will tell you that in advance.
Well, and for anyone to just jump to that conclusion when you know that the first 24 to 48 hours is the most important. So nothing makes sense when I hear that.
Yeah. Oh, so Justin did not run away. Justin's friend gave a number of conflicting statements in the search for him, and it became clear that he was just not telling the truth, which moves the last confirmed sighting of Justin back to 6 p.m. by his mother. He did not run away. He would never. His godmother, of whom he was very close to, was supposed to have surgery the following weekend, and he asked if he could go over and spend the night at her house so that he could make sure that she was okay and spend some
Oh
time
my
with her.
gosh.
This kid, I tell you.
Yeah. And that you just know, like, you just know there is no way he would
No,
leave with
you
that
even
heart of gold. Like,
with
there's just
young
no way.
adults too, when they're making plans and stuff, it's like they're not purposefully trying to disappear, like, just
Right.
And the coming Monday, Justin was also supposed to start at a new high school and was feeling pretty hopeful. Him and his mom had a little plan of how he was gonna, go in there and hold his head up high, because I can tell you being a small kid entering a high school is terrifying. So all Justin's family could do was keep looking, but they were feeling like they were the only ones looking. They handed out flyers, they hung up posters, and they talked to anyone in the neighborhood that they could. When it had been 5 years since Justin went missing, the Ottawa Police Department held a press conference about his case and the details as it stood. It was finally starting to get media traction as a result, and they got a call from a woman in Vancouver saying that she had possibly seen him, but unfortunately it couldn't be verified. They had another plausible tip come in from another woman stating that she had spoken to Justin more than once. She first encountered him on the street when her name was being called by a friend. Her first name sounded very close to Justin's, and he turned around and said, "What?" The woman explained that the friend was calling out to her, but asked what his name was, and he replied, "Justin." This was just a few hours away from where Justin and his family lived, and all over the city, there were flyers advertising work in British Columbia, planting trees, with food and accommodations taken care of, and a good wage with a phone number attached. Honestly, it seemed a little too good to be true. Justin told this woman that he and some of his friends were going to be picked up by a bus to go to British Columbia. She thought it was a little too good to be true herself, but he seemed very enthusiastic. She went up to her work office, and it actually overlooked the street to where Justin and his friends were to be picked up, and she watched as that happened exactly. A bus pulled up and picked up all of these teenagers. It was unmarked, and she immediately got a bad feeling. This was when she reported it to police before she had even learned of Justin being missing.
Yeah, thank you to her. We need more people like that
You
to
see something,
report.
you say something.
Exactly.
The theory then became that Justin had likely been a victim of human trafficking. Amid their search, Justin's family was approached with a video of the night of Justin's disappearance. In the video, you witness an altercation between him and another boy, and then that boy pummeling him. Oh, yeah, no, this case, get your string boards out, ladies.
So I'm over here like, wait, so I don't think it's him. Is it him? I don't think it is. It is. It's not. It is. So
Yeah.
that's how my brain's going right now.
Like, I have no
Same.
idea where you're gonna go next. I
Same.
thought I knew, and then now I'm like, nope, I don't know.
You're like, I'm following? No, not anymore. That's why I picked this case also. That and I'm trying to cover more cases in Canada, being Canadian and all, you know. When they brought the video to the police, they were dismissed and told that the other boy was just a bully and that it was nothing to worry about. I'm sorry. You watch a video of your son getting the shit kicked out of him, and that's nothing to worry about?
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
Another boy then reached out to the Rutters in regard to the video and stated that the bully and his friends had stabbed Justin and threw him off a bridge into the water. Justin's family went back to the police with further information, insisting that they have this looked into. The bully's family, having looked into the bully and his family themselves, they knew that he came from a family with a seedy criminal history and that this lead needed to be investigated. But again, it was dismissed as being just a rumor.
Aren't they
Dismissed after the investigation,
Right.
or
No, just dismissed twice now.
So they didn't even look into it. They just oh, okay.
I have theories, and I'm curious to know if you ladies' theories align with mine at the end. So,
hate
the
that.
fight.
That doesn't
Yeah.
give me hope. Thank you.
The fight happened, and it was all caught on video. Like, what part of this is not worth being investigated? I
Yeah,
can't
even
even
if
imagine how frustrated they would have felt.
even if they didn't think it was a missing person to look into, like, that's still a big deal.
That's a
And the fact that
crime
someone said
still.
that someone was
Yeah.
stabbed and thrown over a bridge, like, and you don't think I need to look into this? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Things need to change.
I agree. Canadian police are much better than Americans. Just saying. Just saying. Our justice systems are very similar and very flawed. Further meetings with police suggested that it was possible that Justin was possibly part of some sort of street vendetta or a gang altercation. And his family was completely baffled. Justin was not part of any gangs. They absolutely had no proof of this. It felt like they were trying to tie the case into a neat little bow, and the family felt like they were victim blaming. Because of the environment that this kid grew up in, he must be a part of a gang? Like, no. A girl that lived across the street from the Rutters' home came forward and said that her boyfriend had watched Justin get stabbed to death and that his body was buried on the stabber's uncle's property. It's unclear if this was the same bully from the research, but based on how the person and their family was described, I'm going to bet yes. It was a very seedy criminal family. So this is now multiple people coming forward and stating that Justin had likely been stabbed. The Rutters went to the Ottawa police yet again and urged them to please look into this. But the family was told by the police that this family has rights and they can't be questioned with no evidence. I'm sorry. How is a witness statement not evidence? Please explain this to me.
That just I hate hearing stuff like this. Like, it makes me so frustrated.
But it's
So
important
frustrated.
to talk about
I
because it needs
know.
to change. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to believe in maybe my ignorant little true crime podcaster brain that if enough people push for some sort of change that maybe, or if you call them out enough, maybe.
No,
Unlikely not.
I
But
definitely I see where you're coming from, and as I say, I hate that so much. I mean, we all do it, right? We're all talking about it. We're all in this together. But
it just makes me
goodness
sad how
gracious, like,
common of a theme it
yeah,
is as
right,
well.
right.
I'm sorry. Did you say what race he is?
He's white.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. We can't even go that route as it being brushed aside. They were literally, it's just lazy police work. Unacceptable. Honestly, I'll show you guys a picture of him afterwards. He's so cute. Like, I just made me cry. Despite Despite all of this information, the Rutters feel that they continue to hit a wall with law enforcement and that no one is looking for Justin. Listening to their interviews and hearing them speak about him, you can feel their pain. Justin, oh, I'm gonna cry again. Justin and his mother used to cuddle on the couch and fall asleep watching TV, and to this day, she holds a weighted blanket next to her to ease the pain of losing her son. Oh, God. But it's not the same. And that is where this case stands as of now.
No, it doesn't.
The
No,
Ottawa
it
police
doesn't.
released the following statement regarding Justin's disappearance, but honestly, it feels so backhanded given everything that we know. They declined to be interviewed for the particular documentary that I watched on Justin's case, which comes from a Paramount Plus series called Never Seen Again. Investigators have followed up on many tips, spoken to dozens of people, and offered a cash reward. But we have yet to determine where Justin is or what happened to him. It's been a long, heartbreaking 13 years since his disappearance without answers for his family. Investigators want to locate Justin and give his family the peace and closure that they deserve. Anyone with any information about Justin is asked to contact the Ottawa Police Service. Even if you think it may be an unimportant detail, it may be the key to finding him. And the family does still urge you to call if you have any proof, information, tips. Nothing is too small. They say that you may be giving them peace, and that is the story of Justin Rutter. And I'm sorry, with the amount of people in their community that did come forward and try and help and did come forward with statements about what they think happened to him. Yes, some of it could have been rumor, like his friend making up stories at the beginning, then people saying he got thrown off a bridge. I'm more inclined to believe his neighbor and his neighbor's boyfriend because of what they said. That to me seems the most plausible. And it makes me wonder if this particular criminal family has any ties to the police and why this is just being brushed aside so quickly. Keep in mind they are teenagers and this is something that has happened in their community. But if your nephew messed up and got into a fight and killed somebody, you would try and cover it up. And if you had connections with the police, why wouldn't you want to brush that under the rug? So it just feels like a very backhanded statement and honestly false. Like, I'm sorry, what have you looked into? Because every member of this family is frustrated and heartbroken, and rightfully so. So,
Well, and other people, I feel like other people probably stopped wanting to come forward with things or saying things too because everyone who did come forward or everything that was said wasn't really investigated or looked into. So other people might be like, for what? Like,
yeah.
why would I say anything?
Yeah, exactly. They did release an age progressed photo of him on the off chance that he possibly was a victim of human trafficking and what he would look like now. Like I said, he was very small for a 14-year-old boy. He looked more like he was 9 or 10 when he disappeared. So at first, when I was doing my research, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Because unfortunately, generally speaking, if they're looking for kids that are younger and maybe they didn't realize that Justin was the age that he was until after the fact. But I don't know. It's awful either way, and I hope that his family gets answers someday because
Does
Yeah.
he
Canada
is
have
just
where you can like file like a civil suit against the police or anything like that?
yes, but unfortunately that involves legal
Mm,
fees that I don't think that given his family's financial
that makes sense.
situation that they have access to.
Right.
I will show you Justin because he's just so cute, and I always feel like it's really important to have a face to a name of what you're talking about. But just like look at the face, like I simply cannot. And yes, he does not look 14.
No,
He
definitely
definitely
does not.
no,
He
not
looks
at all.
Mm,
younger.
I could
he's
say 10, yeah.
He's so cute.
Oh my goodness.
So
Oh, I hate
that
that for this
that
family.
is his story, and I hate it too. Honestly, I was very blown away by the care and how the documentary was put together. I had never seen this true crime series until I watched this episode. Again, it is called Never Seen Again. It's on Paramount Plus, and this particular episode was season 4, episode 5.
Yeah, I want to go check that out now too.
It's a
Now
great
I feel like
series.
I need to look into everything and dive deep and dig, because as soon as you're like, that's where it stands, I'm like, but no, it
Does it?
doesn't stand
Yeah.
there. I can't stand right there.
Yeah, no, that can't be a pin, like a
Right.
comma or something. Like, mm-mm.
It needs to be a semicolon for
Yes,
sure.
yes.
As far as I know, his family is still looking. The interviews left off with them trying to gain some sort of warrant or access to this property. But again, that involves police cooperation and help, and that's not something they're getting right now. So,
Does it say, do you know, like in the documentary, did they say if they still live there?
it didn't say no, but
I always like wonder
I
when
would
someone
imagine
goes,
yes.
yeah,
My feeling from their home life and how they were described, where they lived and stuff, like, I don't think that with 5 kids that things were, financially the greatest at times. I also know that both parents grew up in this part of the city and they really loved, like, the historic parts of Ottawa. And I'm sure I think on both sides, it would make you feel closer to somebody that you lost being around where you have the most memories of them.
right.
But then for me also, I understand just wanting to cut loose and not be there anymore. But I think that they're hoping that, if their presence is still there and they're still looking, that maybe one day they might get those answers.
I think that's
Um,
always my thing when I think of missing persons cases, is I don't know how anyone could leave a house when their loved one is missing if there was any hope that they could come back to it. And that's why I was like, "Oh my gosh."
yeah, as far as I know, they're still there, and I also will say that I think it's great that their family is brought closer and they continue to search for him, because I know that sometimes losing a child, marriages fall apart, like things like that. So I'm glad to know that they're still together and that, that they're still raising their 4 kids, and yeah.
I was gonna say that too.
I guess not raising them anymore. They're probably all young adults now, but
Yeah. I just listened to a case. I don't remember who it was by, but one of the children. Oh, it was I think Luz, where the neighbor kidnaps her, and like 6 years later they end up finding her. But in that
Mhm.
their 6 year time, her parents end up getting divorced because they can't handle
Yeah,
the daughter
it's
being gone. And that whole time she was
unfortunately,
30
it's
minutes away.
super common, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
mean, see how common divorce is when you don't put in that
the stress, yeah.
big of a traumatic event happening. So I couldn't imagine. And for the people that it brings them closer together to stay strong for one another, wow. Hats off,
Yeah.
props to them. That's beautiful, because I'd probably, just saying, like, I'd probably distance myself from every single person that exists. There would be one thing on my mind, no one else would matter. Not a single person. So,
Yeah.
and I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to think that way. I just see like myself being that way,
No,
unfortunately.
everyone handles trauma and pain differently, and I think that however you process it is however you process it. Like, I never try and weigh in too much on how people react to things, and, like, because you never know until you're in it, right? So, yeah, I'm sorry to have bummed you beautiful mamas out. I know that this probably weighed a little heavier on your hearts being parents yourselves. I
The
know
disappearance ones always suck because there's no resolution. And I'm like,
I
I
know.
know how the families feel, but I'm like, I need an ending. I need closure.
I know, I know. The completionist in me
Yeah.
feels the same way sometimes, and, like, with unsolved murders, I will just dig to the bottom of the earth to try and solve it myself, and then I'm like, "Oh, it's 4 in the morning, I should probably go to sleep."
Probably should, yeah.
That's gonna be me
That
right
was
now.
fixate on, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that they're really important to talk about, and
Yeah.
that's part of why I started Truly Twisted as well, is to dedicate more of those stories, so I very much appreciate both of you coming in to save the day, literally with 20 minutes to spare. I cannot thank you both enough. No, I didn't only get one backup co-host, I got two. So before we roll on out of here, I would love to give you both a chance to plug your shows, anything exciting that you have going on, and yeah.
Go ahead, Jasmine, because this is your first collab, which I'm excited to be a part of your first collab. This is so exciting.
Yeah, this is great. So, yeah, my name is Jasmine. My show is Black Coffee, Crime, and Crochet, where I cover scams, frauds, and murders committed exclusively by Black men and women. I also give an iced coffee segment where I give a recipe and I give like what is it? Sponsored by a certain small coffee business.
I
And then
love that.
and then I have a crochet segment too where I share a pattern where you can go a course purchase because you don't steal. Purchase a pattern from a crochet designer and I tell you like what I'm working on. So I finished a diva cardigan by one of my friends that I found on social media. So I shared her pattern too.
Wow.
So yeah, and I think we just did the 5th episode and I'm almost to 500 downloads, so I'm excited about that.
Wow, that's
That
exciting.
is
Yeah, I'm
exciting.
excited.
That's
That's
a fun
awesome.
little milestone. I'm very happy for you, and I will say that your energy is very infectious. Your concept is very unique, and I'm very excited for you. So,
Thank
I
you.
think we both launched our with Truly Twisted, I think we launched, like, 7 days apart, so I'll
Oh,
be right there supporting you.
wow. Thank you.
So, Twisted Humans, please go and show some love and check out Jasmine's show. And Rachel, you are familiar with this lovely half of Like Mother, Like Murder.
Yeah, because I came in as if I live here.
You know
I
what? You
make
live
myself
rent
very
free in my
welcome.
soul, so that's fine.
Yes. So I am one half of Like Mother, Like Murder. My co host Heather is not here. It's so sad. Just kidding. I loved being with the both of you. We do mom related crime. Everything is mom related, missing moms, murdered moms, moms who commit the crimes, survivors, and more. We have a missing person segment that we also do now more so. So we drop every Tuesday and then we try to do a little bonus on Thursdays whenever time allows me to do so.
Oh, we do
Yeah.
Tuesday too. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
We
And
all do, all three of us.
I'll do
Oh, really?
Yes.
Tuesdays. You
Yep.
guys have look, listeners, your day is already full. You already get
Correct.
all of your episode fill
Boom,
for the
boom,
day.
boom.
Yeah, Tuesday is a great day. I'm just saying.
I agree.
I am honored to share it with both of you, and thank you again for coming on the show and for bailing me out at the last minute.
Yeah, thank you for
Was
having us.
fun.
And
Yeah.
and you did an
I
amazing
wish
job
it would have
telling
been
his
like a
story.
haunted episode or some sort of wacky conspiracy, but this is the way that the
No, this is
pattern
good.
fell today.
This is good. I enjoyed it.
Um, so thank you both again for coming on the show. I will see all of you next week for a brand new episode. I think it is Sierra's, I want to say, cult episode. I want to say we're getting a spicy cult. And in the meantime,
Keep
keep
it
it
twisted.
twisted. Twisted and Uncorked is a proud member of Weirding Way Media. Hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alecia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.